There are no business plan. Once you've got a player, build your connections or relationship with the stakeholder. You are asking me, where is the business plan in all of these things I've said, in all of these tips? It's nice for some to have it, but why I said that is because the industry is volatile. The industry is not typical business kind of buying and selling industry. We are dealing with humans. This is the Ball Business Playbook. Welcome back, guys. This is Fumbi Ball, your favorite person, talking about the world of football agency. And I appreciate you guys that you've always sticked around, sent a message on WhatsApp, you've joined our community, you've sent an email, you've even joined the live. So this is a bit of a continuation of what we discussed in the live. Because after the live, a lot of people said, Fumbi, can you talk about actually starting the business of being a FIFA licensed agent, a solo agency? And said, okay, why not? Then we'll do that today. So that's why we are here today. And today I'm just going to be giving you five tips on how to start or on starting your FIFA agency business. Of course, first of all, for you to start, you will already have your license. And if you've not got a license and are thinking of getting it up with the materials on the Ball Business, and reach out to us to help you pass. And we believe that's the first step. We'll help you through that journey. And once you get a license, you can go into the administrative. So we are going to skip that first step, which is step one. So inevitably, we'll be doing 6 tips. So secondly, because now you've got your license, you're ready to go to become an agent. What does it actually take? I always tell people the way you should do this is you actually treating it like a startup. I can't emphasize that enough because it is actually a startup. And what do you do when you're trying to start up a company? First is to get your business name, is to get your branding out there, is to get your logos, is to register the company. So in no particular form, register your company, register your business name, get your logo and the banner. So even if you don't have money for a website, you can start on LinkedIn, put all of these things, start a LinkedIn profile for the company, start YouTube for the company if you can, start your Instagram as well for the company. So that's the very first tip. Get all your registrations complete. Register with as many FAs as possible, but with the focus of where you are currently domiciled or where you'll be looking at doing business. So the very first tip, it looks very cliche to say registration, but that is the very first step. And when I mean registration is you register everything you're supposed to register. Register with your local FA. That's if you are in England like us, you register with the English FA. I'm Nigerian, I've got the Nigerian descent. I've registered with the Nigerian Football Federation as an agent, registered with Netherlands because I've got partners there as well. So you have to do that first. Even open up a business account because that way you're already setting your mindset to make money. Register everything that is possible and everything that you need to register, because in the long run, it's good that you have it and you don't need it. But when you need it and you don't have it, it becomes a problem. So that is the very first tip. The second tip, which I already did mention a bit, is the branding aspect. And when I mean the branding aspect, I'm talking about your logo, which is the very least you can do. Now we have AI tools that can do your logos for you. We have all of them. Even ChatGPT, if you pay for the premium one, can give you a logo, explain to it what you're doing, what you want to achieve, and it brings out a logo for you. So once you have a logo, that's where the branding actually starts. I remember it is interconnected into what you've already registered. That is now for your company. Where does the logo come in? Your letter-headed papers, because that's what you want to do, even if though it is electronic. But when you're sending out those emails, when you're sending out those messages, it is nice that it is well branded. So your logo, your letter-headed paper, your LinkedIn, which is the most important for the business. LinkedIn is where you are able to connect with all other like-minded agencies. Take a step further. If you've got the money, just create your website. You brand your website and you are good to go. Your logo, your letterhead, even your Gmail, let everything be as professional as possible. Your bank account, then your branding, which is the website. Now you've done that. The third step for you to do actually is to now get a client. So as the business of football agency, who are your clients? Your client is your player. And there's a saying, as an agent, you are as good as your players. So if you don't have good players, you are deemed not a good agent. If you've got a good player, trust me, you are deemed a good agent, because that is what you are going to be presenting to people. And this is where I always tell people, if you're starting small, probably you're starting as a solo agency, the question is, where do I get the players from? The players are all around you. The players are in your local communities. The players are in your churches. The players are in your mosque. The players are your brothers. The players are your sisters, your cousins. Just check around. The very first decent player where there's somebody telling you, oh, that boy is good. Even some of us became an agent because we were motivated by the talent that we saw around us and couldn't get help for him or her. So now is to get your client. And how do you go about that? I always tell people, look inwards first before you look outward. And why do you have to look inwards? Because number one, you are working with somebody you're familiar with. Having to establish that trust is a bit easy than getting a new person, or because now you've posted on LinkedIn that you've passed the FIFA agent exam. You start getting requests to say, oh, please look at my profile. I'm from so country, and you think that's the best way to do it. Starting out, no, that's not the very best way to acquire a first player. I do acquire players on LinkedIn. One of my good players now will be playing in Wales Premier League First Division, Sekuba Kamara. He approached me on LinkedIn, saw his profile, and I picked him. But that was not my first player. But I always tell people, first establish that trust in your local communities, in your local academies around. You are going to meet parents, even young guys that are trying to be up there. If you see one who's got the character, the talent, the grit, then it's good for you to get that person as a client. Now you already have your client, you already have that trust relationship. And the way you work with your client, I'm going to do a separate video on that agency and player client relationship. So you guys watch out for that. That's why if you have not subscribed, please do now, like and share. And now I'm going, first time going live on TikTok for some of our fans there on TikTok for us to see. So now you've got your players, which is the very third step. Because you've branded your company, now you're going to start branding your player and your company and let that align. So let people see now you've got a player, you start the branding on the player. If the player has not got a video, you get him to get a video, you get the CVs together, and that is the way you're going to go about it. Because like I said, you are as good as your player. If your player is good, not just talent-wise, but in terms of him being marketable, then you are good to go. And it just linked back to what I said earlier on about you branding yourself, doing your logo, getting your social media or digital footprints. Because if anybody is going to sign you as well, the first thing is for them to check you up online if they don't know you and they want you to be their representative or their agent. So that's why those first two steps are the ideal thing to do before going to get your client. So now you've got the player, you've got everything set, you are good to go to become a FIFA licensed agent. So the very fourth step or the fourth tip I will always share to people is align yourself with the stakeholders. Before you even start pitching that player to an academy or trying to pitch that player to other agents, giving them mandates here and there, I always tell people, now, once you've got a player, build your connections or relationship with the stakeholder. And it's very good. A lot of agents, probably they have other backgrounds, some of them in finance, some of them in accounting, some of them in law, some of them are even ex-football players. So those stakeholders, some of them, they already know them, some of them work in the industry. So yeah, build that connection with scouts, build the connection with coaches, build the connections with other agents first. And once the trust is established, before you start poaching or preaching about your players to any one of them. You're asking me, where's the business plan in all of these things I've said, in all of these tips? There are no business plan. It's nice for some to have it, but business plan does not come in my very first 5 tips. It looks absurd. But why I say that is because the industry is volatile. The industry is not our typical business kind of buying and selling industry. We are dealing with humans. So now once you've got the structure, then that is what is going to shape how you're going to navigate the industry. So now that's why the business plan is coming as the 5th tip. And what is the business plan? Like I said earlier, is not about you putting X, Y, and Z, doing all the graphs, plotting all the plus and minus and all of those things. The business plan is in the map of sending your players to a club. So because why the business plan is coming now is because you need to acquire the player. You need to know the type of player you are working with. So you've acquired the player, if it's a female, if it's a male, if it's a striker, if it's a defender. That is why the business plan is coming as the fifth tip after you have acquired your player. So now you are going to tailor your business plan to the stakeholders that you know already and to the type of product, which is the player that you've got. So for example, let's say you are from Nigeria or you're from Ghana. Now you've got like, what are the markets they look out for? They look out for strikers in Western African countries, especially Nigeria and Ghana, or explosive wingers. We've seen the likes of Kudus, we've seen the likes of Osimhen, Victor Boniface, and all of those exciting talent. So now you have to look at where is the next step? What is their journey like? Where do they go? And that is what will drive your business plan. It can be argued as well that business plan should be the first, but if you think that is how you want to go about it, which is good. But for me, I made sure I got all my compliances in place, then got the player, then starting to draw up the business plan in regards of business plan. And a proper business plan, 5-year map, 3-year map, 1-year map, 6 months map, and monthly, weekly, and daily map. So now you've got the player, you've got the stakeholders, you've got your branding sorted, you've got your business plan. And business plan in terms of agency, like I'm going to reiterate, is not the everyday business plan. It is a business plan that deals solely on the trajectory of the player, on the trajectory in which you as an agent, you want that player to go. And I always tell people, don't rush into signing so many players. 1 or 2 players are good if you're starting out. It's nice to partner up with academies, nice to partner up with scouts. That's why we mentioned the stakeholders. But having an actual contract template with them or a representative agreement template with them, it is always advisable to go with maximum of 2, minimum of 1. So in that way, you have options. Now you've got a striker and you've got a midfielder, you've got a defender and a winger, depending, or a goalkeeper. So now you now have those 2 options to work with. Then you can now tell clubs, okay, I've got this player from those stakeholder pools that you've got. Then you move ahead with them. So that way it is easier for you and it is nice for you to sell your players like that. And the trust there is the trust threshold is different, is very genuine and is germane because you're not working with crowd. So those are the tips I would advise if you're starting out as a FIFA licensed agent in doing this business. Yeah. So thank you so much for staying to the end of this episode of the Ball Business Playbook. I appreciate you. And you can always, like I said, drop a comment section to ask all your questions. Send us an email, even book probably a consultation. We can help you do the step-by-step guide on how to, start your agency business. And for people that don't have the license and are looking at getting into the business, there are ways that we can do that. I'm going to do a separate episode for that as well. But in the meantime, you can also come down, call us on WhatsApp, send us an email, book a consultation with us, then I will discuss that with you. So thank you so much. Looking forward to catch up with you guys next time.